Hello, City Life Gardening. Just wanted to come at you with a quick one today. As you can see, it looks a little bit neater over here. I have, let me stand up. I have freshened up this side, pulled the weeds, left a tree that's growing, left the raspberries I recently planted, and threw down some more daddy peach just to make it look nice and neat and fresh. Add some more compost to the top and make it easy to make rows. And I've started sowing some little Jim Butterhead lettuce. I've got the seed packet on me somewhere. Here we go. Maybe a little early because direct sow after last frost date, but we're really only like 2 weeks away from that, so I'm going to risk it and see if I can't get a head start. And if not, these are older seeds anyway, as you can see, back for 2020. They may have a low germination rate anyway, and I may want to end up spending $2 to get some more and try again if they don't do well. But I'm just going to try and get a head start and get them in. And yeah, I just went down and also added some of this daddy peats around these other raspberries I've added just to kind of make it pop more and be more obvious that it's something I want growing there, not just like something among the asparagus here. It's a little harder to, I don't know, it's just more camouflage in there and not really as easy to tell what's going on. But if you kind of make it pop like that, it's like, oh, raspberry plant, raspberry plant, raspberry plant. It's struggling a little bit. Onion, onion, raspberry plant, raspberry plant, raspberry plant. And it's just easier to kind of keep up with what you've got if it's clean. It's kind of like kitchen work. I prefer to work in a clean garden. I don't always keep up with it. It can be tough, especially if you're solo. But it definitely does make it easier. I might pause just because I might need 2 hands for this. And I'm going to finish seeding. I've already seeded a few of these rows. I'm just going to try to put the rows about 2 inches apart. And I'm just roughly spacing the seeds. Like if several fall out, I'm not that worried about it. It's older seed. Like I said, they might have germination trouble anyway. So if I overseed, it's a little thick, they'll pretty much self-compete with themselves and kind of thin out a little bit. Not to a perfect 2 inches, but it's Butterhead lettuce. You can harvest the outer leaves and leave the rest to keep growing, or you can just wait for it to be a decent size and just harvest the whole thing. I may do a little bit of both of that actually with this if it does well, and if it doesn't and I do well with the reattempt with fresher seed repurchase, because sometimes you just get crazy when you buy seeds and you buy way more than you have room to do, and then you wind up saving all of them and not getting around to all of them in the next few seasons, and then you have some from 2020 and 2026. So here we go. I'm going to see this in a little bit more. And these you don't want to sow very deeply at all. You really only want like an 1/8 of an inch covering, because these are, they kind of need light to germinate, so you just want to lightly cover them with soil. Sorry, I'm rubbing off some weeds that were stuck to my knee. I'd pulled weeds and thrown them down and I was taking a knee. They were stuck, but yeah, I'm going to get some more seeds on the ground. And this will just be a quick lettuce sowing video day. And I'll try to come up with something else wise to say when I come back after sowing. I feel like I have been lacking in the information department. I'm just kind of coming out here gardening crazily and like a chicken with my head cut off and not really telling anybody anything to help them do it. But hopefully, maybe if anything, if I'm not that descriptive, you can just see what I'm doing. But I try to be good for this channel. I know I'm like nowhere near hitting the mark as like Luke at Am I Gardener or some other channels. Like Growing Out the Box, that's another one I kind of like. Anxious Native as well. I feel they all do either better with being entertaining or informative than I do at either of those. But anyway, I'll be right back. Okay, we have finished roughly seeding at roughly 2 inches, and I have a good little bit. These are pretty tiny seeds. That's one reason you don't want to sow them deep. Pretty much, for the most part, with almost all seeds, it's fairly relative to the size of the seed, the depth that you want to sow. So like if it's a big seed, you probably want to plant it a little deeper than you would a super tiny seed, generally speaking. But definitely seed packets are a great source of information. That's where I get a lot of mine, actually. There's no green thumb to me. It's in my gardener videos, growing out the box videos, sometimes Google, and experimenting, and reading the backs of seed packets. That's where I get my information. And I just try and experiment, do what I can, learn as I go. And that's part of the fun of it. But let's see if I can do this one-handed and not super overly seed to where they'll be super crowded. I'm probably just gonna roughly shake out a little bit of what I have into these, and if too much grows, is that ever such a thing? Those are really tight if they, alright, I spread them around. Alright, and these, just because potential low, not that many at once, low germination rate, we'll just give a few extra to some of the rows and call it a day. And we'll just come in and just a very light covering, just a sprinkle from high above, some loosely shook out soil, just to where they'll be just barely covered, 1/8 of an inch at most. Sorry, I probably didn't have the angle for the shot on that, but just doing this in the wheelbarrow here, we'll move them out here a little bit. It's just where I happen to have the soil. That's probably definitely deep enough for these, and I'm just gonna come in and lightly top the rows with some just hand shook out soil, just so that they definitely aren't covered too deep. And I've kind of like made the rows, especially at this onion spot, like I kind of stopped and then started again a little bit and stopped and started again, just to not try and disturb them. And I try to not add too much soil around the onions, because they're pretty much green onions, I believe, from a grocery store green onion that I just was experimenting with, and harvested from just in a glass in the kitchen with water in it to cook with, like probably 4 or 5 times, I would say. And then decided to bring it out here and actually plant it, and it grew and went to seed, because onions are biennial, and somebody grew it and sold it to the grocery store people, and I planted it and it grew another year, and so it gave me seeds. And so I have onions kind of everywhere. I found them in the yard, in the garden, just randomly. These little green onions. So they definitely disperse their seed on their own, really. I did save some to try to plant out, but I haven't really sown any from what I saved. I think it's still in a little rolled up little piece of plastic, just because I didn't really have a empty, in my garden where I get a lot of my seeds, they will give you an empty like label your own seed packet for if you save your own seeds. I think that's definitely deep enough. I should probably stop. And it's supposed to rain in a little bit. I might even be lazy and not even water it in. Let the rain come here in just a few hours. And if it doesn't rain, water in tonight. And call it a day. But happy gardening, everybody. That is some little Jim Butterhead planted for the day. And hopefully not too much phone case noise for you. Sorry, I did do this one again on the phone. It was last second. I was already halfway done with it, and I was like, you know what, why don't I make a video for the channel? If I don't do something daily, I'm never going to gain any consistent viewership. It's like, oh, hey, there's another video, and wow, look at these guys. I don't know if you remember from the other day, video I put up on asparagus flowers, if I could cause it to focus with my hand. Or maybe I'll just zoom for you. Asparagus flowers that will hopefully all turn into berries. Oops, I didn't mean to back up. Zoom to there. Alright, yeah, that will hopefully turn to berries that I can save seed from. And I'll try to end the shot on, ooh, there it is. Make it focus on it. There it goes. Oh, zoom in. Focus on the flower. There we go. Asparagus flower, I guess. But anyway, that's planting out some lettuce. Y'all have a good one. Happy gardening. Feel free to let me know what you guys are growing in the comments.